when I was 250, I was not confident. My face is, but even now, my face is still like a bit chubby. But if you saw it before, I'll put a picture. I put a picture up. Like my face was so chubby, bro. Like I used to wonder because I saw some guys that I used to know who were very confident, even though they were in a great position, let's say like career wise or just situation wise. And I never understood like how are they so confident in these situations where when I'm in that situation, I don't feel confident. I don't feel good about myself. And I realized, and this is no disrespect because everyone has different goals and I guess aspirations. If you went to college for basketball and you're not expected to get drafted, and you end up getting drafted, right? You didn't expect it, but now you're there, and you average 8 points for like the first 5 years, let's say. That person is going to be very happy because they weren't even supposed to be there. So the fact that they're there getting paid millions of dollars, 8 points is like on the lower end. They don't care. They already won. If that makes sense. But if you're on the level of like Steph Curry in college or a Kevin Durant in college or any of these top tier guys, you're not only expecting to make the NBA, but you're expected to be one of the best in the NBA eventually. So if you come in and you average 8 points, like everyone's going to call you a bust and you're going to be disappointed in yourself because you had higher expectations for yourself. The first guy didn't. So he's sitting back, he's chilling, whatever. You're over there probably depressed, even though you're still making a lot of money, but you're not living up to what you expected for yourself. And I see in myself and other people the difference oftentimes between the people that you see might be working minimum wage or not making a lot of money and they're not in the best living situation, but they're confident, they're enjoying life. Like it's oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes it's because they never anticipated like reaching a super high level, let's say career wise, or super high level dating wise, or so they to them like this is it. Like they're at their peak because this is what they expected, right? And again, I'm not saying that's bad. Like everyone has different ideals of what their life should look like. So I mean it. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but if you're somebody who you have a high expectation of the body that you want, you have a high expectation of the money you want to make, the high expectation of the life you want to live, of course you're going to be super happy and super like confident when you're making minimum wage because the gap is so huge. Now that's not saying that you shouldn't be trying to find joy and peace while you're in those moments, like as you're ascending, but it makes sense as to why you would be less happy, less confident in those scenarios because you're comparing yourself to a future version of yourself that you expect to be a lot greater, right? And I don't think there's actually anything wrong with that because I think that as long as you're still enjoying life in the meantime, that was my mistake early on too, where you're kind of waiting for this moment. It's like, oh, when I finally get here, then I'll be happy. Like, enjoy the process, bro. Like, you can't time when everything's gonna work. So just enjoy the process. It might come sooner, it might come later, but you don't have control over that. You have control right now. If you're making progress right now in whatever you're doing, be happy about it, enjoy it. But yeah, like sometimes it's okay not to be I think the lack of confidence oftentimes in those scenarios is what drives you to repel. You're like, I'm not confident in this body if I'm 250 and I know that at my peak I'm 200 and I've been there before and I know what it looks like, I know what it feels like, but I'm not there anymore. I don't think it's wrong to feel less confident at 250 because that's oftentimes what's going to get you back to the 200. Let the other guy be 250, bro. If that's what he wants to be, that's what he wants to be. But there's nothing wrong with having something for you to drive you forward to a goal that you want to achieve, right? So when I got to 250 during COVID, and my goal weight is like 200, 205, and I'm 5'10". When I was 250, I was not confident. My face is, but even now, my face is still like a bit chubby. But if you saw it before, I'll put a picture. I put a picture up. Like my face was so chubby, bro. Like I did not feel confident at all. Because like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like the way my body looked. So obviously I'm not gonna be confident. But that's also because I've been in shape before. It's also because I have a certain standard of what I expect myself to look like. So if I'm outside of that by a lot, then I'm not gonna be proud of myself at the end of the day. But it also feels so much better when you actually do hit that goal, and you're like, damn, I actually did that. And now I've separated myself from so many other people because so many people want this physique, but most people are not going to put in the work to do it, or career wise, or whatever the case may be. So sometimes your lack of confidence comes from that. Sometimes from depression. I've had depression before. I have a video about depression, but oftentimes like a lack of confidence can come from that too. Just you know that you want to be in a better place and you expect to be in a better place and you're just not there yet. But again, it's like as long as you're on the way, like you can find peace and joy along the way as well. So don't just sit, don't just feel like as long as you're not in this perfect scenario at the end that you're at zero. It's like, no, just enjoy the ride, bro. Enjoy it.